It's Richard Mills from Upschool here. For more amazing free lessons like this one, create a free account at upschool.co, and we can't wait to see you on our platform.
Hello everybody, welcome. It's nice to have you all here. If you want to have your camera on, you're more than welcome to have your camera on. That's not a problem. Last week we had Rupashi who was here, and that was wonderful. We've got a few special guests this week, so I'm glad to have you. Now this week we're going to be working and we're doing a lesson together on the food chain, which is going to be pretty cool. Just to give you a heads up of what's going to happen during today's lesson, so you all know. First, you're going to be studying the food chain. We're doing some work on the ecosystems and ecology. And then when it's over, at the very end, I have a special treat for you. Actually going to be watching a wonderful video on a praying mantis and a spider, which is going to be pretty exciting. Could be a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm sure you will be fine. Now, before we begin, this is the last live lesson we'll have for a couple of weeks. On Friday, we'll be heading off to the North Pole, which is going to be pretty exciting. But when we get back, our live lessons will begin again, which is going to be pretty cool. Okay, a couple of things you're going to need today, guys. You're going to need yourself a piece of paper, a bit like the one that I've got on my camera right here, just like this. You need a piece of paper. You're obviously going to need a pen or a Sharpie, a collection of pencils, colors. Various colors will be good. We're going to be doing some drawing today, obviously. We're doing the food chain. So drawing insects and animals and plants. It's going to be pretty fun. So you're going to need yourself some paper, just like the one I have here. A pencil could be a good idea for, we're going to do a bit of writing, and then we're going to get into it. But we're going to start, as we always do, with some keywords. Now, at the very end of this, we're actually going to be doing a quiz. This is really important. During this presentation, you listen, which would be great. It'd be great if somebody could put their camera on. Just going to check if my camera is the right way round. If you can pop your camera or give me a thumbs up, just let me know. Is this the right way round? You can put your hand up if it is. If this is right way round, pop your hand up. So Krishna Singh, yes, this is the right way round. You can read that, which is lovely. Great. Okay, thanks, Indira. Oh, thank goodness you're there. That's great. Okay, right way around. Indira, very quickly, I've got you on camera. Well, I've got you there. Can you tell me, Indira, is this the right way around? Is that H the right way around for you? It's the wrong way around. Okay, wait. Let me just change it while I've got you, because my camera sometimes goes a bit wonky. Oops, not that one. What about this? Right way around now? Oh, thank goodness for you, Indira. Amazing. All right. Let's get cracking then, guys. Okay, beautiful. Now, today we're going to be learning about the food chain. Very important. Obviously, you are part of the food chain. And food chain is all about what we eat. And it's all about things moving through nature, which is wonderful. So before we begin, we're going to start with our presentation here, guys. This week, we're going to be looking at the ecosystem, which is another way to really say the food chain. What I'm going to do in my book just here, guys, is I'm just going to put the title first of all. I'm going to turn my page around so I've got a portrait view like this. I'm going to put the title at the top, the ecosystem. It would be great if you could do the same thing. Just like this. I'm going to make mine nice and colorful. You're more than happy to do that too. If you want to make yours colorful, you can. I'm just going to underline mine with a kind of swirly line, just like that. Beautiful. Okay. So the ecosystem is what we're going to be talking about this week. Now, there are lots of different things to learn about the ecosystem, but ultimately, we're going to be talking about the food chain. And as I said earlier, you are part of the food chain. So let's go to this slide here, guys. What we're going to do, we're just going to answer some very important questions. So first of all, what is the food chain? So in order for me to explain what the food chain is to you, I actually need to give you a few keywords first, and then I'm going to talk through 4 really important things which you will need to know. So let's get started. So first of all, let's go through our keywords. And what I'm going to do in my book, I'm just going to write these down on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, I'm going to write down what they mean. Okay, so let me go to my book. So you can see my book over here. I'm going to put a subtitle over here on the side saying key words. Now, these are words that if I know these words, if I can remember these words, if these words are in my brain, then what that means is that I will be able to understand everything we talk about today. So there are 4 really important keywords. The first keyword I'm going to be looking for is this word producer. Okay, so I'm just going to write that down in my book, just underneath my subtitle. I'm going to write down the word nice and big, producer, just like this. And I'm going to put a little arrow, just like that. It looks really nice. So producer goes here. I'll flick back to my other slide here. And what we're going to do, if you can just make sure that you get the other 3 down, that will be great. So the next one, obviously, is herbivore. If you can just write those down, make sure you spell them correctly. So a herbivore. Next in line, we have a carnivore. And then we have what we call an apex predator. I'm just going to write them down in my book. I'll let you have a little look at what that looks like right now. It looks something like this. So in your book, you've got your 4 key words that look just like that. Producer, herbivore, carnivore, and apex predator. All right. So what do these 4 words mean? Well, they're very, very important. And we're going to go through them today. You're going to understand a little bit about each one of them in more detail. So the first one, producer, this is something in the food chain that makes its own energy. If you think about that very carefully, you as a human being, when you need energy, what do? You go to the fridge, you get some food, you make a sandwich, you eat it, and yeah, you have all this energy to run and to do exercise and to have fun and all these things. You can't make your energy. You have to eat something to get that energy into your body. But there are some organisms out there in the world who don't need to go to the fridge. They don't need to go shopping. They can make their own energy, and they make it from sunlight. So we're going to try in our books now to write down what that means. So a producer, I'm going to define it like this, really simply. Makes energy from sunlight. You need to remember all of these things for a little bit later at the very end of this lesson. Don't forget, we are going to be having a little quiz to see if you can remember them. So the first one, makes energy from sunlight. So if you think about a plant or a sunflower or a tulip or a rose, all of these make their own energy from the sunlight, and these are all called producers. You might like to call them plants too, but there are more producers than that. Let's go to our second word that we looked at before, and this word was a herbivore. Okay, so a herbivore is an organism. Of course, we're talking about the food chain today, but it's a very special kind of organism. A herbivore eats plants, or it eats producers. Very, very cool. So a herbivore eats producers. I'm going to write this down just like this. So it eats producers. And a really good example of that might be a caterpillar. You see, a caterpillar eats plants, so we call it a herbivore. A rabbit eats plants, so we call it a herbivore. So anything that eats a plant or eats a producer, we call a herbivore, which is wonderful. Now let's go to our third word, and hopefully you're keeping up with me. If not, don't worry, you can watch this later on. Everything is recorded. So let's go to the next one, which is a carnivore. So a carnivore out there. Does anyone know what a carnivore is, actually? Does any of you guys know what a carnivore is? It's a pretty tricky word. I wonder, Krishna's got their hand up. Do you want to put your mic on and just tell us what you think a carnivore is? Krishna Singh, would you like to tell me what a carnivore is? Okay, never mind. I can't hear you. Okay, let's continue. So, Krishna? No? Okay. All right. So, a carnivore. What does a carnivore do? Well, a carnivore eats herbivores. So, a carnivore eats herbivores. So, if you think of an eagle, flying through the sky and seeing a rabbit in a field. The rabbit is eating a leaf because he's a herbivore. The eagle sees the rabbit, swoops down, picks him up, and eats him for lunch. The eagle is a carnivore because he or she is a meat eater. Now, very interesting. You can see how everything follows on from each other. Now we get to the very top. We get to the top where you have nothing that eats you. For example, human beings, we don't really have anything that eats us. We're top of the food chain. If you think about an eagle, there's not really anything that goes around hunting an eagle. And if you think about a polar bear, there's nothing that really eats a polar bear. So we call those creatures that are the very, very top with no predators an apex predator, meaning they are the top. So how will we define them? We will say that they have no predators. Now, obviously, human beings go out and we hunt certain things, but this is not taking that into account. So we've got our 4 key words, and then I would like you very quickly to underline just there. Now, we need to know those words for today's session. So producers, they make their own energy. Herbivores, they eat producers. Carnivores eat herbivores, and apex predators are the top, and they have no predators that come along to hunt them, which is pretty cool. If you're an apex predator, your life is pretty nice. If you're a producer, you're a plant, goodness me, everyone's trying to munch you. Now, there is one final one we haven't mentioned here, which is an omnivore. And human beings are omnivore, well, some of them are. Omnivores are creatures that eat both plants and meat. So human beings are one of those types of creatures, but we won't worry about that right now. Now, here is where the information comes. In a moment, I'm going to show you a picture and I'm going to give you some information. Okay, now we're going to draw that picture together and we're going to try to write down some of the information. These bits of information I'm going to give you are really cool, really amazing facts about certain things. And I want you to try to absorb them. Try to ingest and take them in, okay? Because at the very end, we're going to have a quiz just about this and see how well you guys have done. Okay, let's go back to my book and have a little look at my book. What I'd like you to do, guys, I have a bit of space here. I'm actually going to just divide it into 2. So this side is where I'm going to put my picture, and over here, I'm going to put a couple of really cool facts. Okay, are we ready? Are we all keeping up? Do we need some more time? Put your hand up. I know I can't see you. I don't know why no one's cameras are working, but if put your hand up and let me know that you are ready. Krishna is ready to move on. Beautiful. Divyam is here as well. Hello, Divyam, Zach, and Saf, and Zainab. Okay, cool. You're all with us, which is brilliant. All right, great. So let's keep going where we are. So the first thing I need to tell you, and you probably know this, because if plants or producers make their own energy from the sunlight, the first thing we better talk about is the sunlight. Let's talk about the sun, because that seems to be extremely important. So let's have a look at this slide here. Now, in your book on the left-hand side, let me show you my book over here. I'm actually going to draw the sun just like this. I've accidentally drawn mine in green. Ignore my sunshine in green. The sun is not green, if you were getting worried. And I'm going to shade it in, and I'm just going to put some rays of sun coming out of my sun just like this. And just above it, I'm going to write down the word sunshine, just like this. We want you to do the same thing. Okay. So the first thing we need to talk about is the sunshine. Now, all of you know the sunshine. You go outside, it's in the sky every single day. Obviously, sometimes it's cloudy, but there are probably some things you don't know about the sunshine. And over here, I'm just going to put 3 bullet points like this, because I'm going to give you 3 really, really interesting facts in a second about the sunshine. And I want you to try to write down some notes to remember them. You don't need to write down the whole sentence, but just some notes that will allow you to remember what I'm about to tell you, because it's pretty interesting. Okay, let's go. So when I look at the sunshine, when we think about this sunshine over here, the first thing to tell you, the first fact about the sunshine is it's hot. That sun is hot. The sun's surface temperature on the outside of the sun is 10,000 degrees. 10,000. just to let you know, guys, the kettle, when you boil the water, that's really hot. If you pour the kettle water onto your, ouch, it would burn. It would be terrible. That's only 100 degrees. The sun is 10,000 degrees. So in my book, just next to my bullet point, I'm going to write down the words 10,000 degrees. And that will allow me to remember that amazing fact about the sunshine. Let me continue. I'll go back to my facts. So, how far away is the sun? Well, it's very far. In fact, it's 93 million miles away from the Earth. 93 million miles away. If you decided you wanted to drive to the sun in your car, if you could possibly do that, it would take you about 10,000 years to get there. So you wouldn't make it in your lifetime. 93 million miles away. I think that's a good fact. So I'm actually going to write that down in my book. I think that's a really good fact to remember. 93, and I'm just going to write million like this. Whoops. Million wrong. 93 million. Hopefully I can remember that that's how far away it is. Let me go back to my facts. Number 3, it takes light from the sun 8 minutes to reach the Earth. 8 minutes to get here, traveling at the speed of light. If the sun was to blow up, it's not going to do that, but if it was to blow up, you wouldn't even know it happened for 8 minutes. Now, I'm not going to write that one down. That's a good fact, but I don't like it that much. But the next one is what I really, really love. The sun is 1 million times bigger than the Earth. 1 million times. When you look in the sky, the sun actually looks really small. And that's because it's 93 million miles away. But actually, it's 1 million times bigger than the Earth upon which you live. So, in my book, I'm going to flick back. I'm going to write down 1 million times bigger. Just like this. Now remember, at the end of this presentation today, you will not be able to look at your facts. You'll have to try to memorize all of these facts. So what I would say to you right now is have a quick remember, have a quick look at them and think, okay, can I remember all 3 of those things? Yes, it's 10,000 degrees. That's how hot it is. It's 93 million miles away, and it's 1 million times bigger than the Earth. And just to let you know, guys, our sun, when you look into the sky at nighttime and you see all those stars twinkling, most of those stars are suns too, but they're very, very far away. And our sun is a tiny little baby sun. Some of those suns are hundreds of billions of times bigger than Earth. So we have a little tiny baby sun. Some of those suns are absolutely gigantic. So we've learned about the sun. That was the first part of our food chain. The next part of our food chain is obviously producers. Producers are plants, but we also have some producers in the ocean. What I'd like you to do in your book now, I've finished my page. I'm actually going to turn to a new page, just like this. And what I'm going to do in my new page, I'm just going to put a line straight down the middle, just like this. I'm going to divide it into 3 sections that look just like that. And you don't need to worry about a ruler unless you really want to. You can if you wish. Over here, I'm going to put 3 bullet points because each time I learn about a different aspect of the food chain, I'm actually going to make some notes like this. We've got 3 more sections to go. All right. Let's see how good your drawing is. Actually, we'll see how good my drawing is. I'm not very good at drawing, so we will see. All right. Let's go to the next section. Just throw up your hand if you're with me, if you're keeping up. If you're not, I can wait a bit more time and I can leave this on the page. Divyam is ready. Krishna is ready. Wonderful. You can put your hand up in the chat if you're ready. Yes, I can see. Shalini's ready. Wonderful. Fantastic. All right. Zach is ready. Beautiful. And Indira looks like she's ready too. Indira's ready. Yes, good. Thank you, Indira. Beautiful. All right. Now let's continue where we left off. just going to put this in front of me again like this, guys. We talked about the sunshine, okay, the first part of our food chain. The next part of our food chain is obviously going to be producers. Producers are going to be the next part of our food chain. So let's jump across and find out a little bit about producers. So here we go. Don't forget, the first job is going to be to actually draw the producer in our book. Let me flick back to my book like this, guys. Over here, on this side over here, I'm going to do it in the right color this time. I'm going to draw a beautiful, a wonderful producer, just like this. Now, remember what we talked about before. A producer is called a producer for a reason, because it produces something. It makes something very special. It makes its own energy. Here's my producer. I'm going to make mine into a beautiful flower. Well, I say beautiful. I'm sure yours is more beautiful than mine. Okay. Here we go. I'm actually going to label this. This is a producer, so I don't forget. I'm just going to put this down here like this. This is a producer. Okay. So I promised you I was going to teach you some really interesting stuff today about different things. So let's get into it. Okay, producers produce their own energy. But here are some things maybe you didn't know about plants. I mean, it's pretty interesting. You look in the garden and you think, oh, it's just a plant, you know, doing its thing. But plants are actually really, really interesting when you get to know them. Maybe you want to be a botanist later in your life, or a marine biologist, or a biologist, or studying life. This is a perfect place to start. So here are 3 amazing things that you didn't know about plants. Maybe you did. Let's have a look. Number 1, and I'm going to put this in my first bullet point, bamboo. And obviously we know what bamboo is. Pandas love eating bamboo. Bamboo is the fastest growing woody plant in the world. It grows faster than any other woody plant. So in my book, I'm going to write down this. Bamboo. I'm going to put a dash. I'm going to put fastest. That will help me remember that bamboo is the fastest. And just to let you know, by the way, lots of people now, instead of making things out of wood from trees, so instead of cutting down forests, we know forests are really, really important. They're using bamboo because they know it grows back really, really quickly. And that's why if you go to some furniture stores, you'll see that some of the furniture is made out of bamboo now, because it's actually really, really quick to come back to life, which is great. So the first one, bamboos are the fastest. Let's go to factoid number 2. Factoid number 2, plants use the sunlight to make their own energy. Now, we already know that, don't we? We already know that one, so I'm not going to bother writing that one down. But I am going to write down number 3, which is a strawberry. And I'm sure you've all tasted a strawberry before. A strawberry on the outside has its seeds. You've probably seen them before. They're really, really tiny. Strawberries are the only fruit in the entire world who have their seeds on the outside. If you think about a peach, they have their seeds on the inside, or an apple, their seeds are on the inside, or a pear, the seeds are on the inside. But a strawberry keeps their seeds on the outside. And an average strawberry has 200 of them, which means if you had one strawberry and with a pair of tweezers you pulled every single seed off of that strawberry, you could grow 200 strawberry plants. And next time you're having a strawberry, take a seed, pop it in the ground, and see if you can grow your own plant. How amazing! You could grow 200 plants from one single strawberry. I'm going to write that down in my book, just like this. So I'm going to write down strawberries. Remember, I want to remember all of these facts later on. Strawberries, 200 seeds, just like this. Beautiful. And my third fact, and I don't need to go to my slideshow for this one, this is just one from my brain to you. This is that plants can talk to each other. And you might think, Gavin, don't be ridiculous. Plants can't talk to each other. They don't have a mouth or a tongue. How can they possibly do that? Plants can send messages to each other underground. Using their roots, they go under the ground and their roots touch each other, and also fungus helps them, and they can send each other messages. How cool is that? For example, if there was some locusts all attacking one of the trees in a forest, then the tree would send out a signal in its roots to all the other trees saying, oh my goodness, I'm being attacked by locusts, quick. All the other trees make some chemicals in your leaves to scare off the other insects as they come, so they can communicate. So I'm going to put that in my book. Plants can communicate. Now remember, at the very end of this lesson, we're actually going to be having a look at a praying mantis. And we're going to have a look at a relationship between a praying mantis and a spider, because these two things are both in the food chain. One of them is a herbivore and one of them is a carnivore, which can get a little bit scary. Okay, are we all ready? Throw your hand up if you are keeping up with me so I can head off to the next section. Thank you, Zach, Zainab. Yes, thank you, Krishna, Makita, and Christina. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to my next slide. We're doing well. We've got the sunshine producing the energy, going onto the plants. The plants now are making their own energy because they are producers. So imagine a juicy green leaf filled with wonderful, wonderful energy. Well, something is probably going to come along and eat it. What will that something be? Well, I've chosen a mouse. So a mouse is a herbivore. Okay, actually, some of them can be omnivores, but we'll leave them in the herbivore section for now. So a mouse is in a field, a mouse is in a field and wants to eat. And there's all these wonderful plants. The mouse will eat those plants. Here's what I would like you to do in your book, please, in the next section. I would like you to draw me a mouse, if you can, in this left-hand side. I'm going to try. I'm not very good at drawing, but we will have a look and see how it looks. So have a look and see if you can do something very similar. If it doesn't look like a mouse, don't stress too much. And then we'll have a look and see how it is. So I'm going to draw a mouse over here. Now, don't forget, a mouse is a herbivore, because a herbivore eats plants, which is really important. Mice have this lovely long tail that comes around like this. I'll make it a little bit thicker, just like so. Oh, wow, that's pretty good, actually. Okay, so we've got ourselves a mouse, and hopefully you've got a mouse too in your book. Now, a mouse is a herbivore. Herbivores eat plants, they eat producers. So I'm going to write that down just above it like this. This is a herbivore. So we've got the sunshine. The sunshine makes the energy, sends it down to earth. The plant absorbs the energy and makes it into its own energy, produces it. Then a mouse is very hungry and comes along and wants to eat some of the food. Okay, this is a herbivore. Let's find out some interesting facts about mice. Goodness me. Some things that I'm pretty sure you didn't know. I'm pretty sure when I tell you these three facts, you definitely didn't know them, but let's see how you go. All right. Fact number one, guys. Fact number one is a mouse is pregnant for only 20 days. 20 days. Just to let you know, a human being, when they're pregnant, it takes about 9 months, almost a year. And if you are an elephant and you're pregnant, well, that takes almost 2 years. Goodness me. But if you're a mouse, only 20 days and you will be having a baby. How amazing. How amazing. So let's get that down in our book. I'll put down to remember this fact, I'm going to put a baby in 20 days. Just like this. That will remind me of my fact about mice. They can have a baby in 20 days. Very quick. Very quick indeed. And the second fact is something that I really didn't know. I didn't know this till I did my research. Fact number two, mice have teeth that never stop growing. They grow forever. For their whole life, if you're a mouse, your teeth start growing and they never ever stop. Imagine how wild that would be. If you were sitting at home, you're a baby and your teeth start coming through, you're gone for 100 years, they just keep growing. You would look like a walrus. It would be crazy. But if you're a mouse, A mice's teeth never stop growing. I'm going to write down long teeth to remind myself that amazing fact. I wonder if there are any other animals that actually have teeth that never stop growing. And let's go to fact number 3. This is a very interesting one. And this is very interesting because in most of the cartoons I watched when I was a little kid, it told me that mice love cheese. Well, I'm here to tell you, mice do not like cheese. They do not like cheese. So, in my book, I'm going to write down no cheese. It's very interesting. It's the same with cats. You know, cats don't really like milk. We give them milk, they'll drink it, but they really don't like it that much. So it's not really true. So, where are we? We've got our sunshine producing energy. Our plant is absorbing it and making its own energy. It's a producer. Our herbivore comes along and eats the producer. Now the herbivore has all the energy. It's running around, eating more plants and having fun and having babies in 20 days. And it's all good and well, but problem. You see, the herbivore is not an apex predator. It's not the top of the food chain. There's something higher in the food chain. There's something called a carnivore. And a carnivore is a meat eater. And a meat eater is looking for little herbivores just like this and waiting to come along and eat them. Please let me know if you are keeping up or if you need a bit more time. Put your hand up if you are keeping up with me. Beautiful. Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we need to just quickly check. So I'm just going to flick to the next slide. And what I would like you to do is in the next section, we're going to get into carnivores. So in your box, please, can you please draw me the picture of the eagle, please? So I'll just go to my book and see if I can draw that in. Have a quick look at this. Just like this. Over here, I'm going to try and draw my eagle. Pretty hard to draw an eagle, but look, give it a go. See how you go with your eagle. I'm going to try and draw mine. Mine's probably going to look more like an omelet or something. So, you know, don't be upset if mine doesn't look like an eagle, but we'll see how we go. All right, yeah, I'm pretty happy with mine. Let's see how we go here. Okay, so here's my eagle. I'm going to cover my beak in yellow. Give it a bit of color. And let's remind ourselves what we're talking about here. We're talking about the food chain. So here's my eagle. My eagle is a carnivore. And I've got to tell you, my eagle is also an apex predator. Top of the food chain, the apex predator does not have any people in the, and so any predators who can potentially come along and hunt it, which is pretty interesting because you are actually also a apex predator. You do not have any people also or animals that come hunting you, unless you're walking through the jungle, of course, or in the plains of Africa. So we've got our eagle here. This is our apex predator. I'm going to put him down as a carnivore because that's what he is. And we have reached the top of the food chain, just like this. I'm actually going to write down apex, A-P-E-X, apex, because this is the top. The eagle has no predators whatsoever. How lucky is the eagle? But let's learn some interesting things about eagles. I mean, they're pretty amazing anyway. They can fly quickly. They've got very big wings. But let's find out about how quick they can actually do things. Here we go. So the first fact I will tell you is this. Number one, they can reach 200 miles per hour when they're diving down to catch a rabbit or a mouse. 200 miles an hour. That's as fast as the fastest car you might see on the road, like a Ferrari or a Maserati or one of these really fast sports cars. That's the same speed. They can fly 200 miles per hour. I'm going to put down here 200 mph. H. That reminds me, this is miles per hour. How amazing. Let's continue. Fact number 2. Let's flick back to our presentation here. This is a golden eagle. Now, there are many types of eagles, but the golden eagle can spot a rabbit from an altitude of more than 5 kilometers away. 5 kilometers. As a human being, even me wearing glasses, it's very hard to see something that's 100 meters away. This is 5,000 meters away. So an eagle can be flying in the sky 5 kilometers high and will spot a little rabbit down on the ground eating some plants from 5 kilometers away. They have very, very amazing eyesight. How fantastic. In my book, I'm just going to make sure I've got this down. So I'm going to put 5 km and I'm going to write down eyesight. The next time you are actually looking in the sky and you see an eagle, and the eagle's kind of got its wings out wide. It's kind of just like this, and it's not really moving. It's just kind of hovering in the sky. That means it's getting ready to dive. And it's about to go down at 200 kilometers per hour and catch its prey. Let's go to factoid number 3. This is my favorite one, actually. I didn't know that this was actually a thing, but now I do. What I'd like to say here is this, guys. The chicks of an eagle are called eaglets, which is very, very cool.
Hang on.
Someone's got their mic on. Can you turn your mic off, whoever that is, please?
Are you up?
That's all right. I'll sit here with it. It's fine. Waiting in the lobby. So there's still people coming in.
Sorry, someone has their mic on?
Because I'm dead. Okay.
I'll try and, just for the sake of it, I'll come into the thing. Oh, he said we can all hear you. Turn your mic off, Rich.
Okay, let's continue. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so the last thing to say in your book, overhead camera here, guys, is this, that a baby eagle is called an eaglet. Let's get this down in our books just like this, an eaglet. How cute. I really like that word. So eaglets. So right now, if we look at what we've got here, everybody, we actually have this wonderful story that we're telling. And I'm going to put mine side by side so you can see mine just like this. I'm actually going to put one here and one here before we get into the final part. So what I've got at this point, guys, is I've got myself a beautiful food chain because I've got the sun making the energy, the plant absorbing the energy, then I have the herbivore eating the plant, then I have the carnivore eating the herbivore. And this is my full food chain. But I'm not there yet. This is all my things that I need to, this is my research. What I would like to do next, I can see yours in there, it looks fantastic actually, well done. What I would like to do next is create our very own food chain. So here we go. You will need a blank piece of paper just like mine. I'm going to pop it on my table just like this so you can see it. You're going to need this. You'll need a pencil and you'll need to be quick because I'm going to go through it. Now, don't forget, I told you at the very end, we are going to be having a quiz and there's going to be 12 questions. They're going to be tricky. And if you've listened really carefully, you will be fine. Like I'm sure you have listened carefully. So we're going to make our very own food chain now. Okay. Now, I'm not going to draw these, but I'm hoping you can draw them because you are very, very creative. I'm going to label them for sure. My first thing I'm going to put on my piece of paper, and you want it just like mine, just like this, in the top right corner over here, I'm going to put the sun. Can you do that for me, please? Just like this. I'm going to start with the sun. I'm going to label it like this, sun. So can you draw me the sun on your piece of paper? If you want to put your cameras on so I can see what you're up to, that would be awesome. And you can hold them up every time. That would be so cool so we can see how yours is looking. Each time I put one on, I will give you 2 minutes to draw it in your book and label it. We're going to start with the sunshine. So here we go. We've got the sun to start off with, guys. Krishna's ready. Wonderful, Krishna. Thank you, sir. Okay, so we start off with the sunshine. Now, if you were to walk outside today, you probably could see the sunshine. The sunshine has got a very important job. So here we go. Start off with the sunshine. Now, the sun is full of energy. So I'm going to draw a little arrow like this. You might want to do the same on your piece of paper. The energy is coming out of the sunshine just like this. Now, there are many, many producers, as you know. I'm going to choose the producer grass. I'm going to use grass here. So I'm going to put this one here like this, and I'm going to put it next to my arrow. And I'm going to label this. I'm going to label it as a producer, because that's the key word I've been using today, because it produces its own energy. Producer. Here we go. So the sun is in the sky, filled with energy, beaming down onto the earth, and there is the grass absorbing the energy, and this is a producer. I'll give you 60 seconds to draw me some grass and label it as a producer. This is where we get to really make our own very own food chain. And we'll work our way all the way to the apex predator. But just to let you know, there are many, many food chains. This is just one example of a food chain. Okay, Sanvi, I can see that you have finished. You've got your hand up, which is wonderful. I love that. Thank you. Divyam is also ready. Thank you, Divyam. Adya is ready too. Thank you, Adya. Just another 45 seconds. Krishna's ready. Zach's ready. Saf's ready. Thank you so much. And Miss Rivers is ready. Marquita's ready. Super. Right. Fantastic. All right. Let's continue. Sun producing energy, hitting the grass. Grass is absorbing that energy. Then we need another arrow, guys, because we know the energy is about to be moved along. Obviously, a herbivore wants to get his hands on this beautiful, delicious, luscious grass. Here's our herbivore. Dum, dum, dum. He's a grasshopper. He's a herbivore. Here he is. So the herbivore is hopping around the field and he sees these, oh my goodness, look at those beautiful, luscious green leaves. I am so hungry. I don't need to go to the supermarket. I don't need to go to the refrigerator. I just go over to that beautiful piece of grass because I'm a herbivore and I start munching them. And I eat all of those leaves because I need the energy from them. So the energy starts in the sun. It goes into the grass. The grass produces its energy because it's a producer, and the herbivore comes along and eats the producer. Next time you go in your garden and you see that there is a snail eating one of the flowers or the plants, remember this. That's a herbivore eating a producer, and it's part of the food chain. So you don't want to stop it. Okay, pop your hand up when you're keeping up with me. I can see that Zach's ready. I can see that a few people are ready, and we can continue with our food chain. Divyam is also ready. Wonderful. If you're waiting, and if you have already finished, you can give your picture a little bit of color. That would be awesome. Miss Rivers, you want to show us yours? Your camera's on. You want to hold it up so we can all see it? A lot of people around the world looking here. Sanvi's ready. You don't want to? Okay, no problem. Let's continue. We're doing really well. We'll make our own food chain. Now we need another arrow, guys. Now I'm sure you know what is coming next. Okay, there's a herbivore filled with all this lovely energy, ready to hop around. But I'm so sorry to say this to you guys. So sorry to say this. But, you know, the herbivore isn't actually going to be very happy for very long. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, we have ourselves another creature which has just appeared. Okay, so we are actually going to have a look at this. Now, this is where I get to introduce you to a new word, guys. This is where I get to introduce you to something new. Now, this is a mouse. Okay, now a mouse obviously can eat plants, but a mouse can also eat meat too. They eat both. So we don't call them anything else apart from an omnivore. They have a very special name, an omnivore. So I'm going to label it O-M-N-I-V-O-R-E, an omnivore. So the mouse is running through the field and, you know, is having a baby. It's 20 days coming around, sees a grasshopper, yum, 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 yum. I'm so hungry. I've got to feed myself. I'm starving. Runs over, eats the grasshopper. Goodness me. And then the energy from the sun, which was in the grass, which was in the grasshopper, is now in the mouse. And the mouse is running around, having a great time, having a load of fun, enjoying her day. But I'm sorry to tell you, bad news for the mouse. You see, the mouse is also not an apex predator. It is not the top of the food chain. It has a predator. I'm going to introduce you to him right now. Here he is, a snake. A snake is hiding under a rock, and as the mouse struttles by, running along, I'm afraid to tell you that the snake munches him up. Now, snakes are very interesting because they eat meat only. So we call these a carnivore. Just like this. Now, just because you're a carnivore doesn't mean that you are top of the food chain. Just because you eat meat does not mean that you are an apex predator. You can still have predators that will come along and eat you. So let's go through the food chain so far. The sun is beaming down on the grass, absorbs the light, changes it into energy. It's a producer. The herbivore, the grasshopper, goes, yum, yum, yum. Look at those lovely leaves. I'm going to eat them. Eats the grass. The mouse needs energy to feed its young. Goes, oh, there's the grasshopper. I'm going to catch him, and eats him. He's an omnivore. The snake is hiding behind a rock. The mouse runs by. The snake pounces out, catches him, and eats the mouse. Now, the snake has all the energy that started in the sunshine. How amazing is that? The snake is slithering away, thinking, I'm so full. I'm so happy. Life is beautiful. But I've got some bad news for Mr. Snakey. We'll call him Stanley the Snake. Bad news. This takes us to our apex predator, which is our eagle. Here he is. And this eagle is top of the food chain. So we're going to call him, yes, he's a carnivore. And I'm going to put that above just like this. But he's also the apex, meaning he is top of the pile. There is nothing that is going to hunt my apex predator. And there we have our entire food chain. In the middle, I'm going to write down in big letters, and you can do the same if you wish, food chain. Now, there are lots of food chains around. They don't all have a grasshopper and a mouse and a snake and an eagle. Some of them have a penguin with a seal and a seal with an orca and a leopard seal. Some of them are underwater. Some are on land. Some are in deserts. Some are on mountains. Some are in fields. There are lots of food chains all around the place. But before I jump into the quiz, here is the most important part of my whole discussion. Quite often, you're in the garden and you see a spider and you go, oh my goodness, there's a spider. I don't like spiders. They're creepy crawly with 8 legs. Woo, and it's spooky and they're going to jump on me. And sometimes we squash them. Or we see a cockroach and we squash it. Or we kill it. And I want to tell you right now, I don't want you to do that anymore. I don't care what the insect is, a bumblebee, a cockroach, a spider or a slug or a snail. I want you to leave it alone or help it along its way, because watch this very important lesson. If I was to take away this grasshopper, I'm going to zoom him in, look at him, there he is. He's called George the Grasshopper. If I was to squash him flat in the garden like this, because I don't like grasshoppers, then watch what happens. Well, there's no food for the mouse to eat. The food is gone. So the mouse, oh, bad news for the mouse. He's gone. Now the snake that was hiding behind the rock, but there's no mouse for the snake to eat. So there's no food for him. That's really sad. Oh, and the eagle that was flying at 5 kilometers high, looking for his prey. He's looking for prey, but there's no prey. Oh, the eagle has gone. And all that's left is the sun and a load of grass. Now, I do not want to live on a world where none of these things exist. And I'm sure you don't either. I like to have all these wonderful creatures around me because actually I am one of those creatures. I'm a human being and I eat meat and vegetables too. And I'm sure that some of you eat meat or vegetables as well. So we need this. So next time you see an animal, insect, whatever it is, no matter how small, doesn't matter how dangerous, doesn't matter how much you're scared of those 8 creepy legs, woo, creeping up on you. Do not kill it. Do not hurt it. Help it. Protect it and let it go on its merry way because it is very, very important. Okay. All right. Good. Now, I'm glad that you're all doing so well. Does anyone want to put their camera on and show us their food chain? I'd be really interested to see some of them. Does anyone want to do that? If you can do that, you can flick your camera on and hold it up if you want, and we would love to have a look. So Divyam wants to have a look. Divyam, you want to show us yours, Divyam? I'm really interested to see what yours looks like. Maybe someone can activate your camera and let you put it up. Let's see. Okay, there's a lot of people want to show us theirs. I wonder if we can have that. Okay, maybe we can't do that right now. Maybe we'll have to wait a little bit of time. Okay, no problem. We'll see if we can get that going in a second. Now, let's jump into our quiz. As I said to you, there are going to be 9 questions. I'm just going to move my food chain out of the way, just like this. I'm actually very proud of my food chain. I like it a lot. So, guys, here we go. We're going to the finale here. We have 9 questions. I'd like you to close your books. I do not want you to have a look at the stuff you have been looking at before. Okay, this is where we're going to test your ability to remember everything we said about the food chain. Let me go back to my paper. I'm on the side here. I'm going to put down the questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, if you can do that, I'll give you 60 seconds to do that. Put your hand up when you have done it. And let's get on with today's quiz. There's 3 rounds in the quiz, by the way. 3 rounds, and they gradually get harder and harder. All right, so here we go. It's time for the quiz. Put your hand up in the chat if you are ready so I can see everyone's ready for the quiz. 9 questions, and then we'll run through the answers at the end. I won't start till every hand is up. I can see there's a few people not quite ready yet. Marquita's ready. Wonderful. Amazing. What about, let's have a look. Yes, I can see Miss Rivers is ready, which is lovely. All right. Looks like we are ready to rumble with the quiz. So I'm going to show you 3 questions at a time, and I'm going to read them out. You don't need to write down the question or any of that stuff. You just need to write down the answer. That's it. But because I can't see where you are, I'm hoping you're not going to be going into your book and having a look at the answers. You've just got to try to get into your memory and try to remember them. Here we go. Here's your first 3 questions. I'm going to read them to you. See if you can answer them in your book. Here we go. For question number 1. But next to the question number 1. How many miles away from the Earth is the Sun? How many miles? How many miles away from the Earth is the Sun? Question number 2, and I'll read them out. How many times bigger than the Earth is the Sun? These are all about the Sun. I think we had our first section was all about the Sun. And number 3, what is the temperature of the Sun's surface? Forgive my spelling mistake. I will fix it while you're here. There we go. Beautiful. Fixed. What is the temperature of the Sun's surface? Okay, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. 60 seconds to work those out. Oh, Divyam's here. Hello, Divyam. Your camera's finally working, which is lovely, yes. Okay, 60 seconds, guys, to see if you can answer those 3 questions in your book, and then we'll go through the first 3 answers. When you're finished, you can put your hand up. Ah, there you are. Yes, I can see Shalini now, and everybody else is here. Lovely. All the cameras are working. This is great. Okay, first 3 questions. I'll read them out again for you. How many miles away from the Earth is the Sun? How many times bigger than the Earth is the Sun? And what is the temperature of the Sun's surface? Let's go around and see if we can ask some people if they want to answer those, and we will tick them off in our books. All right, Divyam, give us the first one, please. Big loud voice, put your mic on. How many miles away from the Earth is the Sun? I can't hear you. Activate your microphone, Divyam. Maybe you can't do it. Divyam, try now. Oh, he's not We've got a malfunction. Never mind. Okay, I'll read your. Do you want to hold it up, Divyam? You want to hold it up really close so I can read it? Go to the. Oh, yes, 93 million. I love it. Correct. Okay, so question number 1. The answer to question number 1, how many miles away is it? Yes, it is 93 million. Beautiful. If you had 93 million, give yourself a big fat tick. That's what I'm definitely doing that. Tick. We'll let you be the teacher. No problem. You can tick your own work. No problem. Okay, let's go to question number 2 again, and we'll go through the answer this time. Divyam, you're showing everyone the answers still. How many times bigger than the Earth is the Sun? We can't activate our camera, so we'll just use Divyam's book. It is 1 million times bigger. Well done, Divyam. You've got it. I'm going to put 1 million. How amazing is that? How can it possibly be 1 million times bigger when you look in the sky? It's so tiny. It's because it's so far away, guys. 1 million. And by the way, like I said, our sun is a tiny little baby sun compared to the other suns out there, which are humongous. All right. And our question number 3 was this one. What is the temperature of the sun's surface? You are correct, Divyam. It is, in fact, 10,000 degrees. 10,000. If you were to fly close to the sun, you would be melted and you'd turn into liquid very quickly. Very bad idea. First 3 questions. 1 million, 10,000, and 93 million. Well done. Give us a thumbs up if you got 3 out of 3 and you didn't check your book. All right. All right. Okay, never mind. All good. Doesn't matter. This is just a little fun quiz. Don't worry too much. Even I couldn't remember the answers until Divyam told me. Here are the next 3 questions. Here we go. Round number 2. Make sure you do not look in your book for this one. I'll read them out for you. This is question 4, 5, 6. What do plants use to make their own energy? Oh, well, I missed my question mark. I'm going to correct my own work. Here we go. Yes. What do plants use to make their energy? Number 2. What is the fastest growing woody plant on Earth? What is it? Is it the strawberry plant? And question number 3, how many seeds does the average strawberry have? Dum, dum, dum. I will give you 60 seconds to get those answers in your book. I will put them on the screen. Here you go. What do plants use to make their own energy? Question number 1. Question number 2, what is the fastest growing woody plant on Earth? And question number 3, how many seeds does the average strawberry have? Okay. So, does someone have them written in their book and wants to hold them up to the screen? I can see Krishna. Krishna's looking pretty, not you, Divyam, this time. You've given us all the answers last time. All right, Krishna, it's you this time, buddy. Let's go with it. So, question number 1, Krishna, hold it up. What do plants use to make their own energy? I can almost see it. It says sunlight. It is correct. Question number 4 was sunlight. You are very correct. They use sunlight to make their own energy. I'm going to give it a big fat tick. Well done. By the way, I could see you got that one right, Sanvi. Okay, well done to you too. I saw your book. Great work. All right, let's go with question number 5. What is the fastest growing woody plant on Earth? What is it, please? Krishna, you holding it? Oh, yes, I got it. It's bamboo. Well done, buddy. Well done. Bamboo. Very cool. Sanvi, how did you go? Did you get bamboo? Yep, good. Good work. And then question number 6. This is a good one, this question, because remember this. If you have a strawberry, you can grow this many plants from one strawberry. That's pretty crazy. How many seeds does a strawberry have? Sanvi, you want to hold it up to the screen? I can't see Krishna's. He's holding it way too close. How many seeds? You haven't got it written down. Divyam, give us a heads up. What have we got? How many seeds? Divyam's got it lined up. And it is, yes, very good, 200. Amazing. The next time you have a strawberry, pick all the seeds out before you eat it. Pick, and grow yourself 200 strawberry plants. You'd have a strawberry farm, Sanvi. You could grow an entire farm from one strawberry. You could open your own business. Sandvy's Strawberry Farm. Just from one strawberry, that would be pretty amazing. I want to see that next week. Okay, let's go with round 3. This is where it gets a bit tricky for you guys, though. Round 3 is where it gets very tricky indeed. Here we go. Round 3. Here we go. Question 7, 8, 9. Question 7. Do mice like to eat cheese? Yes or no? Question number 8. How long does it take for a mouse to give birth or to have a baby? And question number 9. When do mice teeth stop growing? When do mice teeth stop growing? Is it after a week, after a month, after a year? When do they stop growing? Okay, who wants to help us out? Adia, I can see you there. Adia, you want to give us the first one with a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Do mice like to eat cheese? Adia, yes or no? Thumb up or thumb down? I just can't hear me. What about Rudra? Rudra's having lunch. What about you, Rudra? Do they like to eat cheese or not? They do. Oh, I'm afraid they don't like to eat cheese. The answer, in fact, very surprising, is no. They don't like to eat cheese. I think you missed the beginning of the lesson, that's why. It's not your fault. Let's go. Question number 8. How long does it take for a mouse to give birth? How long does it take? Divyam, hold up your book and give us a heads up. How long does it take? He's got it. It takes 20 days. Very good indeed. It takes 20 days. Excellent. Brilliant. And the last question. Question number 9. When do mice teeth stop growing? And he's got it in his book. I can see Divyam's book. It says never. And that is the correct answer. They never stop growing. They grow very, very long indeed. Okay, everybody. Now, what I will finish up by saying is this. Firstly, number 1, I will say thank you. Thank you for being so unbelievably amazing. You guys are doing an amazing job. You're coming every single week. But the lesson isn't over just yet. I promised you that at the end of this lesson, I would show you a very, very cool video. Okay? Now, we talked about the food chain today. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you're in the garden and you see a spider, will you squash it? Beautiful. If you're in the garden and you see a cockroach, will you help it? Rudra, thumb up. Remember, if we get rid of anything in the food chain, if anything is gone, then the whole food chain has a very big problem. So we have to take care of all the plants, all the insects, all the animals, every single thing, because actually you are one of those parts of the food chain too. Okay, let's finish with a wonderful video that I want to show you here. And then we'll head off. So you've worked hard, been here for an hour, you now can relax. And I'm going to show you something very, very cool indeed. This is the story of a Kung Fu mantis, praying mantis, and a jumping spider. The praying mantis is a herbivore. The spider is a carnivore. One wants to eat the other, okay? If you don't like insects, then you might want to turn off your screen, but this is just an insect. And remember, this is an insect zoomed in with a very high power lens. So it looks at all the little details. It almost looks like a dinosaur or something you might see in a cartoon. All right, let's get into it. I will share it with you right now. And let me have a look. Oh, no. Go to your device. You don't have speakers, Realtek audio. Yes. 1 second. Let's just change something. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, here we go. It doesn't look I can share with you my sound, which is a bit sad. Ah, I can now. Okay, here we go. So let's get into this. I will share it with you now. Relax, have a little look at this and see what you think is coming. Here we go.
Mantids will eat anything that moves. including other mantids. Time to leave. This tiny insect is now open to attack from predators lurking in the undergrowth.
Here comes the carnivore. Remember, a
Whether
praying
an
mantis is a
individual
herbivore.
mantis survives or not is partly a matter of chance. Whether it's spotted by a predator, whether it turns right or left.